This is more of a cultural question, so I'm kind of wondering here. Drop in the comments what you think. But I've seen a lot of Latinas like on this app, like they're Latina American women or like let's say Mexican American women, right? I'm just going to talk from the Mexican point of view. They'll, of course, call out machismo, which is valid. However, there are some thoughts that I've had now. There's a huge difference between like the Mexican American communities here in the U.S. versus like Mexicans living in Mexico. Right now, the sitting president of Mexico is a woman. Half the Congress is made up of women. So clearly they have had a lot more gender progress there. And in terms of like legal representation, well, not legal representation, but you know what I mean? Like, governmental representation, they are definitely ahead of the U.S. because the U.S. doesn't have anything like that. So my question is, the Mexican American communities that may have these machismo elements, like, is it because of the older generation that immigrated back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and so they brought those attitudes, and like it's prevalent there, so they're behind how they are in Mexico? That's kind of what I wonder. It's like, are the Mexican American communities here behind, or is it not actually machismo and it's more so because these generations, unless we're talking about the oldest generation that actually immigrated. If we're talking about like the children that were born and raised here, or the grandchildren that were born and raised here, I don't think that would really be machismo, because at the end of the day, you're socialized around what you grow up, right? So in that case, they may be very, very Americanized. That, of course, it varies by person, but that leads me to then question, is it really machismo, or is it just your regular smuggler, American, sexism, right? Because let's say it's a grandson that's Latino or whatever, right? And he don't even speak Spanish. He's not very connected to the culture. Like, would his stuff be machismo? I don't really think so. It would just be the regular American sexism, especially because increasingly a lot of like men here in America have turned to like red pill type of shit and stuff like that. Although I do hear that the red pill is dead because of that sphere is just so hypocritical and like toxic, which I'm glad to see. But it is just a couple questions that I kind of had over this because I was kind of pondering. I think I would assume, without knowing too much, again, I haven't, I visited Mexico like over the years, but it's not like I've just like lived there for an extended period. But I would assume that generally speaking, they may be more open minded and better in terms of the gender thing than the Mexican Americans, only because at least there's outward signs of it. Like I said, with the sitting president being a woman and half the Congress being made up of women now because of the law changes, right? We don't have anything close to that here in the U.S. Of course, any woman can join and become like, any political figure in the U.S., same as how it was in Mexico in the past. But again, they took extra measures.